In Roman mythology, Vulcan was the blacksmith of the gods. As such, the weapons and jewelry he forged had to be both gorgeous to behold, and functional enough for a deity. This description sums up Roccat's new keyboard pretty well. The Vulcan 120 Aimo is an expensive gadget, but it justifies its high price. An elevated key design with slim springy keycaps makes the device both elegant and responsive. A few software and design quirks prevent the Vulcan from reaching the very top of Mount Olympus, but overall, the keyboard is a case study in how a striking aesthetic, married to great performance, can take an inventive new product far. The keys. Roccat has developed its own brand new key switch for the Vulcan, the Titan Switch Tactile. Like a lot of in-house keys from high-end keyboard manufacturers, it mimics a Cherry MX Brown key, in that it's tactile and not too loud. What's interesting about the key switch is not how it performs, but how it looks. Unlike most Brown and Brown style keys, the Titan Switch Tactiles are not mechanical switches nestled into depressions, covered by domed keycaps. Instead, the switches are out in plain sight, covered by tiny, thin keycaps, that put as little distance as possible between you and the switch. The keys look cool, although the angular keycaps take some getting used to. Design. Aesthetically, the Vulcan is an odd beast. I appreciate its low-profile form factor, and the brushed aluminum plate is a nice touch. The exposed stems are also nice, a constant reminder of the technology powering the hardware, and they also allow the RGB underglow to shine boldly around and beneath the keycaps. Then there's also the question of the keycaps. The primary concave caps used on the majority of keys feel pleasant and ergonomic, curved to suit your fingers. On the other hand, the bottom row of keys are convex, which feels natural for the spacebar, but quite odd when applied to the Control, Alt, Windows, and FN key. It feels almost like they're trying to repel your fingers, and it's easier than it should be to slip across and off of them. However, this could be a design feature, so gamers can easily feel out where those ever-crucial Control and Alt keys are without looking down. The wrist rest is a flat rectangle of hard plastic, that is so low that my wrists don't actually rest on it, not that the rigid plastic would provide much comfort or support if they did. Also, the media controls at the upper right of the board, are an unattractive rubbery white, that looks cheap, and at odds with the design of the rest of the board, whether or not they're backlit. While the volume wheel is sturdy and functional, it's also the only component of the board lacking backlighting, so it looks out of place stuffed into the upper right corner. It's all a very strange mix. Software. The Roccat Swarm software offers complete control of RGB lighting, as well as the other functionality we've come to expect from keyboard control software, including game profiles and macros. Every key can be remapped, and in addition to setting up custom profiles, general features can be configured in software, including sound feedback while typing, something I had yet to see outside of Android. Additionally, the Swarm Connect option can be toggled, and if you use the Swarm mobile app you can configure these options in the Swarm software and view the results on your phone. I personally have no use for keyboard gameplay stats, but I am not a competitive gamer. Interesting as an option, but I did leave this off. Performance. In the real world, the Vulcan's heavy and sturdy base, and the Titan switches, translated for me into absolutely lightning fast and accurate gaming inputs and typing. As you would expect from someone who writes for a living, I can type bloody fast, and at no point did I find the board wanting for speed or stability, even during the most intense coffee-fueled copy production. In terms of gaming, when playing fast and chaotic titles like Battlefield 5 or Doom, I equally never found myself missing keys, pressing keys and getting no response, or getting multiple inputs from seemingly one press, with the linearity and speed of the Vulcan's keys suiting the frenetic gameplay in these titles perfectly. I'm not a big MMO or MOBA player, so I generally don't use macros all that often. As mentioned though, assigning macros to any key in the Swarm app is super simple, even if the Vulcan is missing dedicated macro keys. All in all, typing and gaming on the Vulcan was a real pleasure. Key spacing is very good, and the layout is very comfortable. I wouldn't go so far as to say the Vulcan is better than say a Corsair K70, as the overall layout is very different given the slimmer design. But I do think it's easily on par with other mechanical gaming keyboards of its ilk. And as stated previously, I just really love the slim profile and sleek look. It really complements just about any modern PC gaming setup. Bottom line. There are still improvements Roccat could make going forward, But the Titan switch and accompanying half-height keycaps are the Vulcan's primary experiment, and that aspect is a resounding success. This is the first time the Cherry-style RGB switch, and that weird translucent chassis, has felt like a conscious design choice and not merely a concession. I also think the Vulcan is an interesting choice for those who want a chiclet-style keyboard. This isn't your only option in that regard, but it's one of the best I've typed on, marrying the ergonomics of a laptop keyboard with additional tactile feedback. It's an interesting design all around. I expect plenty of imitators, and indeed, Corsair's already announced its own version with the low-profile K70. Time to see where this trend leads.